Hi, I'm the Tourette guy. So will Wayde Van Niekerk run another world record? After another setback before the Doha World Championship in 2019, he had to become even more patient, and that is certainly a value that is very important for track athletes. They are always on the verge of injury. They have to be masters of listening to their bodies. Maybe this lesson is the lesson he needed to come back better than ever. Look at Trevon Bromell, suffered from his injury just as long as Wade. Is now better than ever and ran 9:77 this year. Van Niekerk says that it's important that your mental state and physical state is at the same level. That your physical state is not far above your mental and vice versa. You have to train both the same way. People like Asafa Powell is the man who always failed at championships. Many people believe the reason was mentally, not physically. Just like weapons are getting better and new technology are being developed, the mental side of humans also has to increase the same way, but sadly that doesn't get enough focus these days. Niekerk says that where and when he will get out his potential doesn't matter, just that he gets it out. He also said that this period with COVID is a time to think and help others, not just focus on where I have to go in life. Help the ones that are not blessed as we are. Selfish to just think about me, but not the other people in this period. You don't want that big media coverage of him helping other people. He just wants to help those around him, where he's at the moment to feel good. Trying to be the best he can to those around him. Here's a quote from Maurice Green. It doesn't matter how much that race hurts. It doesn't matter if he has to go to the hospital. He's able to run through that pain. I think he has the mindset of I don't care how bad I am hurt. I'm going to run through all of this pain, get what I want to accomplish. And when you are dealing with a person like that, that's like going in a fight and the person you are against are not afraid to die. How are you going to beat this person? He's willing to go further than you. If Michael Norman is going to beat Van Niekerk for this year's Olympics, he probably has to go to a place he's never been before. There will be a hungry South African that have been caged for a long while. And when he gets unleashed, you should not be tricked by his calm and nice demeanor. Just as you should not get tricked by the tiger slicking its paws in its cage. His long injury out of the game also made for an opportunity to improve on weaknesses, and maybe heal and strengthen parts of his body that wasn't as focused on before. For the longevity of his career, it can actually be something positive. Look at Justin Gatlin. If he didn't have that doping suspension that lasted for several years, he probably would have hanged up his boots a long time ago. You can address small things that could have become an issue later on, but now that he got more time to fix issues, it certainly looks brighter. Even before the injury, Van Niekerk talked about whatever times I have under my names right now, it needs to fall. He was very confident in this before the injury, and I think that his injury has just improved that mentality. Here is a quote from the YouTube channel The Way to Win, which by the way is an amazing track and field channel, and you should definitely watch their videos. Thank you. If humans want to break 43 consistently, they must learn to run with negative splits, because it's the only natural way to run the distance. Improving the record by always running the first 200 meters faster is nonsense. We should sooner or later see some improvement in the second part of the race. Maybe if Van Niekerk developed this ability, he would get an even higher chance of taking down his old world record. An athlete that has been very successful with this formula is Butch Reynolds, the American. This is a quote. Wade has been injury-free for a whole year in 2014. And to show you how important to be injury-free is, Wade had been injury-free for a whole year in 2014, something that hadn't happened before. In 2014, he boosted his confidence and gained the strength to break the world record. Because he hadn't had any injuries in 2014, he built his confidence and eventually built on that until he became the Van Niekerk we all know. I think every athlete has minor struggles almost all the time, minor injury problems. Wade was so frustrated with his back and hamstring forever being sore. He would come home some nights and say, I don't think I want to do athletics anymore. But the next morning at 6 o'clock, he would go back to the gym. That shows his incredible mentality. Speed is why I do track and field. I love going fast. That's where my alter ego takes over. I live for speed. That's a draw for me. Every time I ran in heats and semi in Rio, I felt my hamstring at the 200-meter mark. I thought, please don't come. I don't want to feel the pain. In the race I spent 200 meters waiting for that feeling. When it didn't come, I thought I would push harder. The presence of my family and fiancé played a massive role. I even completed a victory lap when normally I go to the locker room and close myself in to die. He has the perfect combination of fast twitch muscle fibers for sprinting and lung capacity for endurance. Maybe this is true, but he also seems to definitely not care about lactic acid. If I had to live my life by other people's opinions, I'd probably not be the world record holder right now. A few years ago, people told me the record would never be broken. So I listen to what people have to say. I take the good advice if I get good advice. But other than that, it's me that needs to do the job. So I'm getting out there and continuing to do the hard work I learned to do. Continue being as consistent as I learned to be. Just prove everyone wrong, because I got a dream. So I just want to make sure that I rewrite history as crazy as possible. So that when the next generation comes through, they know it's not going to be easy feat to get to. What keeps me positive is my everyday Bible study and understanding my current situation, using it to build myself mentally and physically. Having the opportunity to step back and point out the needs that I should focus on, to get back to being the best. In the end, it is important to have the ability to think about growth as an athlete and not get carried away by all the competitions. We are of course humans, that not always makes rational decisions. But to be the best at something, you almost have to be inhuman. In the end of March 2021, Van Niekerk finally showed the world again what he can do. In 2.1 meter per second tailwind, he ran a time of 20.1 ahead of Akani Simbine. It was also rainy this day. To prepare the best way possible for Tokyo, he decided to move away from Ansputa, his trainer, to train in the US in Florida with a trainer Lance Brahman, with people like Noah Lyles and Shawnee Miller. Recently, in a 200 meter, he ran in Boston. All South Africans were holding their breath. Wayde Van Niekerk was on his way to a strong victory when he felt something strange. He had to slow down and let the victory go. This was the first race since joining Lance Brahman. It seemed his right hip was a problem. Luckily, it was just some tightness in his right hip. Wayde told that it was just normal problems, when considering that he had just started to train in a completely different environment. I was in the race for about 80 or 90% of the time. I just had to get to cross the finish line. That race was going to be one of the fastest races I ever run. The speed is there. It's just about ironing out the last few creases. I'm going to be a better Wayde than the one you have ever seen before. So to me, I want growth. To me, I want an improvement. To me, I want times that are better than I currently have out there. So that definitely means the world record. But with that being said as well, I want to be at a level that is somewhat untouchable, at somewhat out of reach, and that's where my mind is at. That is where I want to be. I want to own every record that I can now, and that's my dream. I want to own every record that I can now, and that's my dream. That's my goal. I'm going to do the 100 and the 200 somewhere along the way as well. I want to be the fastest. I want to be the greatest at every single event that I do. Van Niekerk, who's 28, makes the starting claim that he might run a 400 meter faster than he did at his absolute peak. I think I can, he said in an interview. I've shown a lot of positive signs in training, being faster than before, and I've matured way more mentally. But I know it's one thing to doing it in training, and a different thing back on the track. So it's really about getting that consistency in terms of being a competitor. And here is the split times of Wayde Van Niekerk and Michael Johnson. The split shows there is a possibility that Van Niekerk could have run faster if he had a bit slower start. Impossible to know, but it seems likely that he could have dipped under 43 seconds with 2 to 4 tenths of a second slower in the first 300 meter of the race. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.
Very good. Wonderful.